I have all these albums that I've collected over the years, and they come in these two hard cases. They're made by Odessey. I bought those from Amazon for, I don't know, they're more than $200 each, and they'll be included in the sale with all of these albums. Here's a quick screenshot showing the actual page from Amazon where they're for sale, and then we'll jump right into the album. Here we have Yoko and Lennon, Two Virgins. We have Harry Nilsson, Yellow Submarine by the Beatles, Heart, their initial album, and a couple other albums that I kind of laid out before I decided to just go through the whole box.
So I started by deciding to take out the albums and spread them out and take photos, but that got boring very quickly. So I just thought I'd make a video flipping through and showing each of the albums as I go along. That was a disco album. There was some Chicago. That was the Eagles I just went by. There's a Blind Faith. Here's a little Foxy Get Off from the disco days. Boss Gags. You should know what these are, Peter, Paul, and Mary. I've been collecting these albums for probably about 50 years. I am not exaggerating. I could certainly use some, organization. That's Tom Lehrer. There's a couple of Tom Lehrer. He's a funny comedian guy. The original Capitol Beatles album. Here's some, I don't know, it's all mixed up. There's a chorus line. I've had that since the 70s. Here's Aerosmith. Kiss. There's Kiss mixed up in here. There's a little Harry Nilsson, The Point. I'm not going to say every single album cover. I just thought I'd kind of, try to give a little bit of something to listen to. There's not just the albums clunking around as I slide them in and out of the box. I think this looks like Supertramp. No, it doesn't. That was The Who, I think, Tommy. There's a little Exotica, a little Sgt. Pepper. Yes, funny how I get B-52s. Don't know why that's not in the sleeve. There's a little Picto disc of Blondie and a little Earth, Wind, and Fire. There's a bunch of Earth, Wind, and Fire in here. Missed one. There we go. Go back. Make sure we show that. There's a little Beatles Revolver. There's TK Disco. That's, it's a disco long play. There's the Cars, a little National Lampoon. Oh, God only knows what that one is. There's some more ELO. I think I've got everything ELO ever made in here. Probably there's another Nielsen. Here comes another Beatles. That's a VJ before they went to Capitol. And let's see. There's that Beatles album actually belonged to a relative of mine, and I got it when I was probably 8 years old or something like that. A little bit of classical mixed in. As I said several times, Robert Plant, there's The Pretender. I need to organize these things, don't I? Oh, there's a little Whipped Cream and Other Delights by Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, B-52's Mesopotamia. There's Steel Pulse, some Herb Alpert. He owns A&M Records, doesn't he? Yes, and there's The Village People. There's a classic, that's the Magical Mystery Tour, if I remember right. Steve Martin. Wow, that's a funny album right there, Martin Mull. I got to tell you what. There's a Bill Cosby, 200 Miles per Hour. There's a Christmas album, Out of Place. There's a whole section of Christmas albums somewhere else. There's some Joy of Cooking. I have 3 or 4 albums from Joy of Cooking for some reason. I think my mom liked them, and I probably got some of her albums along the way. There's a little Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones. And what was that, Bonnie Raitt or someone like that. And David Bowie, that's my grandson's favorite. I might have to pull that one out and offer it to the grandson. Okay. Here comes some different stuff that I don't recognize off the top of my head quite so quickly because I didn't listen to it 1,000 times over the last 50 years. Los Yaqui and this next one here are actually 2 albums that my mom got in Mexico. She spent a lot of time when I was really young down in Mexico and was in the go-go scene. There's Zig Zig Sputnik. That's a 21st century type music. What was that? I can't keep up. Chris Christopherson, that one's signed to my mom, who knew Chris Christopherson. Simon and Garfunkel. There's more Simon and Garfunkel. Here come the Go-Go's. Yes, the 80s. I've had that one since the 80s. Pat Benatar, Leon Redbone, seen him a couple of times in concert. A little Peter Tosh, a little Bob Marley, little Eagles. Wait, let's get back to the Bob Marley. Let's get back to the reggae. Oh man, this is a mess. I have 3 copies of that Peter Tosh album that I just showed, by the way. There's a little Buffalo Springfield. And who knows what else? A Randy Newman. I mean, you got to have a little Randy Newman, don't you? Here's Joe Jackson, and what do we got here? Run DMC. I recognize that one. There's the Yachts, SOS, so we're the yachting type. A little Rachmaninoff, a little of this, a little of that, and you just can't quite be sure what we got going on here. Let's see. I can't even. My eyes are getting blurry from looking at all of these things, and is that Peter, Paul, and Mary or something? No, it's not. Definitely not Peter, Paul, and Mary. That's something else for sure. There's the Beastie Boys. Yeah, it's Les Chic, Say Freak. Here come the Commodores, Brick House. That's an extended version. Quite a bit of disco extended versions mixed in here. Another Bonnie Raitt. Don't know why I ended up with those. I think that's the extended version of I don't know, one of the disco songs. And there's Bonnie Raitt again. Here comes some more Bonnie. I don't know. Why do I have so many Bonnie Raitts? I don't know. But that's Boney M, Night Flight Venus, and that song Rasputin's on there. Flock of Seagulls. There's a little Manhattan Transfer. Some of these albums I don't remember procuring, but it has been over the course of a lifetime. So I can't guarantee you, I can't even guarantee myself where this stuff came from. Oh, there's Andy Warhol. There's that. Is it The Verve or something like that? And there's quite a few Cal Tjader albums in here mixed in. I think there's at least half a dozen or more of those mixed in there. There's the Season of Glass, the Lennon and Ono, the Gods. I mean, who doesn't have the Gods? This one is interesting because it has the MGA on the sports car in Hi-Fi, and that was my first car. There's some more Bowie, and there's a couple of the Kiss solo albums. I never got all 4 because I didn't like them that much. And this one's like audio and visual obstacle course. It's like you put on your headphones when you're high, and that one's kind of crazy. That would look like the Pretenders there, or the Motels maybe. Oh, that way we got to get past these Kiss ones. Already did that. Move these albums out of the way. There's a Grease soundtrack. Who can't deal without that? And Styx. I saw them in concert a couple of times, and so I obviously have more than one of their albums. This is the Partridge Family album, the Family album. Here's Boston. Don't Look Back, or is that the first Boston album? There's Styx, Grand Illusion. There's Exile. Saw them in concert a couple of times. There's a little Supertramp. Didn't see them in concert, but heard their music a lot. I think that was Styx again, if I remember right. Obviously Elton John, a little bit of Three Dog Night, and some more ELO. There's more ELO. That's one of those Ronco or K-Tel music compilation discs. There's a little Jethro Tull, a little more Jethro Tull, real common, the most famous one. Can't remember what that one is. Joe Walsh, Life's Been Good to Me. There's another ELO, Ole, ELO, Simon and Garfunkel again. And here comes some, what is that? I don't know. Some kind of Beatles compilation thing. There's ZZ Top, a little Jackson Brown. Some more, oh no, I thought that was going to be ELO again. It's funny how your brain looks at these record albums and instantly recognizes what they are. The Runaways, they were, from Manhattan Beach, if I remember right. ELO again. And more ELO. I listened to that one a lot in the 70s. There's the Blues Brothers. I got that when the movie first came out. Kansas, Carry On My Wayward Son, the Tubes. Who doesn't love the Tubes? And the Cars. The Specials, a little ska for y'all. And there's some Jefferson Starship. There's some Airplane coming up, too. That was ZZ Top, I think. A little Led Zeppelin. Some... I got to take a breath, don't I? There's some Talking Heads and something else. Now we're getting into the albums that don't necessarily. That was Bonnie Raitt again, I think. There's Soft Cell, not Soft Cat. There's Brothers Johnson, Strawberry Letter 23's on that one. A little Amy Stewart. There's Chihuahua, Bow Wow Wow, the song Chihuahua. There's Village People again. That's a EP version. Chuck Mangione. Some, what do we got here? Tijuana Brass on the Border again. Herb Alpert. He owns A&M Records. There's some more Herb Alpert. What else we got here? Frank Sinatra. I think this is where we start getting into the less like rock and roll and more like some Sinatras, maybe some Crosby. There's more Sinatra. What do we got here? Bing Crosby, Christmas. So I think we're going to get into the Christmas section here maybe. On the Christmas whatever. Here's another Christmas something else. Willie Nelson, Pretty Paper. That was a nice album. Christmas with Elvis. You got Another Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. This is just the Rolling Stones Miss You, and Far Away. That is not Christmas, nor is the Fat Boys Are Back or Big and Beautiful, right? Then we got the Disco Party album. That was a classic back in the day. It had music from Osco's Disco in it. Maybe from Thank God It's Friday. There's a special, it's a little more ska. This is Boom Boom, Out Goes the Lights, 45 by Pat Travers. And here come a lot of albums, I think, in this section that I'm not going to recognize the covers for. So a lot of jazz and classical is going to be in this little section here, if I remember right. So let's see if I just guess I can be quiet now, and you guys can look at the covers of these ones, because I'm just going to be, making noise. Was that Muddy Waters? Da, 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 da. Now, I would put music in the background so you guys could listen to music while I'm doing this, but then if I post it to YouTube, it's going to get blocked or something like that, and I don't know. It's just, more than I know. A Little Night Music was a play that I produced back in the day, and la da 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 da. Yeah, just a bunch of classical and jazz, I guess, is what's in this section. I'm going to sell all these albums together, and I'm going to sell them with the cases. Those cases are available on Amazon right now for $39 each or something like that. And I'm not really interested in breaking up this set. I'm either going to take it with me when I move out of state in a couple of months, or I'm going to sell the whole thing and never think about them again. And I'm not sure which I'm going to do, but I thought I'd make the video and see how it went. And, I needed to take a break from listing all the things that I'm selling. Oh, look, there's the Romantics. Midnight Oil, there's stuff that's not classical or jazz in here too. There's Brian Johnson, looks like I moved back into the Police. Some standard albums, Joe Jackson again, another Joe Jackson, and James Taylor maybe, a little Xanadu soundtrack, a little bit Newton-John, and I don't know. I'm not holding this up long enough for me to be able to tell. The Motels, they had a good song, can't remember what it was, but it's on that album. There's the Tubes again, Inside Outside the Tubes, I believe, a little Jefferson Starship, a little Jefferson Airplane, some Doors, and Herman's Hermits. That was the first album I ever got. Rodney Bingenheimer gave me that album in Hollywood when I was a young child. What else we got here? There's boom, bang, bing-a-bong, boom. I don't know, a little Genesis. Was that Phil Collins or someone? Or maybe it was a different Genesis. I don't know. The Hooters, the John Prine. Yeah, it was a little John Prine, I think. And I'm getting to the end here, which is good. Jimmy Buffett. And I think that's Jimmy Buffett again. And that looks like Phil Collins right there, doesn't it? And there's a little ZZ Top and Joe Jackson, Pearl Harbor and the Explosions. Yeah, the song Driving. I got my hands on the accelerator. Okay. I didn't get that right. But Steel Pulse, I hope I don't get copyright infringement. That was Yellow Man.